Well, well, we clearly ruffled some feathers with Facebook for playing that UNICEF video. Um, well, that is a lesson learned. Essentially, I got a notice saying that I was playing music that belonged to somebody else, and I thought I was still broadcasting, but then I stopped seeing your comments go by. And just as I was saying that your comments usually fly by really quickly, I started noticing that some of you sent me very kind messages directly to my inbox. So we live and learn. Now we know that as much as we try to um, spread such a beautiful message as UNICEF's, one thing is to share the link of it so that you can enjoy it, and another thing is to play it. Does anybody see me, Sherry? I see you. This is so funny, and perhaps a little bit curious to folks that are new to the broadcast. Um, oh my God! You guys are so the scrutiny on my clothes just makes me laugh. I don't use an iron, and yes, my color is a mess, Dave. I'm gonna play a Trump here and say, well, you like Judy Woodruff because she wears beautiful clothes, and I suppose she doesn't work for me, but I suppose you don't like me, but you know what? I don't understand why you don't like me. Here I was thinking that it was all about the content, and all you're here for is to scrutinize my clothes. Well, that's okay. I can take it. Why? Because I have my coffee and because I have my very important assistant sitting next to me taking notes. As you can see, Luna is, paying attention to everything that's going on. So, you don't like my clothes? Buy me some new ones. There you go. Let's take a quick look at who's here. If you're new, please write the word new in your comments so that we can give you a proper welcome. And no, this was not Luna, this was me that made things funny. Um, Logan says, if only reglamentos in town acted as fast as the copyright police. That is very, very funny. Um, a lots of hellos from regular folks. It's always great to see you. As I was saying, and I don't even know if you heard me, we have a bunch of questions to answer. We have news to share. Amanda Scher asks, who do we call? We call reglamentos. Let me see if I have the reglamentos number nearby. I used to keep it around just in case anybody was curious about this. This is the number that you call whenever you want to report something. It's 322 224 0918. I'm going to leave it there for a little while before we start with our news. Oh, thank you, Terry. I knew I had some fans. Okay, enough about your comments. We'll come back. Um, um, of course, I don't think you're shallow. You're just giving me grief, and I love it. Anyhow, we have lots of news. It's great to see Sam Chris join us live. We have lots of news to share. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. I totally felt like I was singing a little bit of Chili, a little bit of Lime, that wonderful song that Zoe Lewis uh, um, composed about Puerto Vallarta. So let's dive into the news because, and yes, I just happen to have that number. This is one of the emergency things that I have ready to pop up because I know that it's important to you guys. So we just try to provide a good service here. Lisa, welcome to the show. I'm so glad that you're enjoying yourself. This is your second time, so you must have found something useful in the previous one. Um, let's see. News. Let's go. News. You guys are sending so much wonderful conversation. It's difficult to focus. So here we go. Well, we don't usually do the little numbers or the big numbers, but we have to talk about numbers today because according to Contralinea, the rhythm of cases continues to increase in Puerto Vallarta with 65 new cases in one day. Ay vey. So tomorrow is supposed to be the day in which our governor tells us whether he's going to push the button or not push the button. Meanwhile, I got this tip from someone that this comes from a paper that I don't usually read, and now the news items. Oh, there it is. This says, according to the ex rector of the Jalisco University, we have already passed the limit of 400 active cases. Um, so, by the book, we are supposed to have the button pushed. So, what is going to happen tomorrow? Will the governor actually push the button or not? Ism. Oh, that my God, you're right, Christopher. You're absolutely correct. My days kept going by, and you're absolutely correct. Today is Thursday. Today is the day in which the governor is supposed to drop the bomb or not. So we'll just have to stay put. Thank you for correcting that. And again, this was circulated yesterday. So whether the governor will push the button or not, we are going to find out during the day. It was interesting to read in Vallarta Opina that despite the pandemic, there seems to be finally an increase in real estate condo sales in Puerto Vallarta and the Banderas Bay region. I certainly hope that there is increased prosperity for the real estate industry, which, according to this article, went through um, a drop in sales between 30 and 40%, but now the numbers are starting to go up. So hopefully, this will be the case. Um, we also hear about this new study published by the Journal of American Medicine Association in the United States that says if you combine an enclosed place with poor ventilation and asymptomatic people to happen to be so-called super carriers, which apparently are these people for that for whatever reason we don't know happen to be just oozing coronavirus wherever they go. This is a bad combination. Now, this whole notion of super carriers is something that had not been discussed before that I know of. Individuals that, for whatever reason, are asymptomatic, but their viral load is very high. So they become serious spreaders. What does this mean to us? If you have to walk into a small place that is not well ventilated, simply try not to do that. And this makes me think about my experience on the Uber cabs that I don't know if you were even able to hear that or not when I was doing the previous broadcast. I was telling you that because my car's in the shop. I had to take two Ubers yesterday, and both of them were very well behaved and so forth and so on. But now, in hindsight, I think maybe I should have opened the windows while we were driving and tell the Uber driver, turn your AC off because, I want air flowing through this experience. I also put out a poll, which existed just for a little bit of a second, asking you if you prefer the yellow white cabs or if you prefer Uber. And most of you prefer Uber, and I personally prefer to take an Uber just because I can track, I can find out ahead of time how much they're going to charge me, I can see where the cab is coming, and so forth and so on. Back to the headlines. Oh my God, this is quite the headline, and I'm just going to put it out there because I thought it was quite interesting. Trump's new favorite COVID doctor believes in alien DNA, demon sperm, and hydroxychloroquine. Did I read the article? Actually, I didn't because, that's too much information. I don't want to know about this. You guys get enough information from other sources about what's going on in the United States for us to dive into detail here. That said, I will say that I was quite taken by the statement made by Chris Cuomo last night regarding President Trump's remarks that nobody likes him and he doesn't understand why nobody likes him. This was quite the speech, and I'm going to leave the link there so that you can watch it. I must say that as I was watching Chris Cuomo deliver his speech, I found myself, and I'm going to be a little gay, forgive me, 20 seconds. I found myself blushing. I mean, the guy is 49 and he's rather attractive in the way he was just speaking. But back to the news. That's not important. The news are Why some Americans say they'll never wear a mask and what that says about the U.S. That's another headline that caught my attention. I only wish that this headline read, Why Some Americans Say They'll Never Wear a Mask in Their Country, and what that says about the United States. Because, with all due respect to whatever beliefs people from any country have in their own country, the problem for us, the problem here is when you come here as a visitor or a tourist and you bring your beliefs with you in a place where the beliefs are different. That is the problem here. We have a lot of folks that come and visit us from other countries that are very respectful of the situation that we are going through. And then there are those that are not. I'm going to pause here just to see if there are some questions because I saw some cues fly by really quickly. Let me take a look. Dee 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 dee. Uh, hmm, hmm. Um, uh, if Mark Hartman is in the house, loved Happy Hour yesterday. I thought it was, that's lovely. I hope Mark Hartman is in the house. Do I know if the button is pushed with the airport? Will the airport close? I have no idea, Kim. I really don't. You may want to call the airport for that answer. There are plenty of foreign national visitors in Vallarta right now. Yes, that is true. And yay for Julie Bunker. Congratulations. Um, will the governor give us a couple of days to prepare, or will there be an immediate? I would think that he would give us a day or two for us to go into Costco and Sam's and La Comer and cause chaos for everyone. Uh, can you use a credit card in PV when using Uber? The answer is yes. I don't know, however, if Mexican Uber will have limitations on your foreign credit card, but I've used my credit card and I've used my debit card successfully. Um, Kimberly rephrases, will the airport close if the button is pushed? We don't know. Um, let's see. How I wish restaurants understood the dangers of AC right now. Well, yes and no, Vallarta Heather Wilson, because again, if the place has proper ventilation, then it's entirely up to us to make the call. Hello, Carmen Porras from El Arrayan. I hope things are going well for you guys. Question, if my neighbor in Puerto Vallarta is building onto his house and he's using my wall and that are my rights, I already went down to the organization. He's done. Um, uh, that's a really good question, Joanne. I don't know who you would talk to. I would suppose that you'd have to start with your neighborhood association. And if that doesn't work, I would go to City Hall and just find out what legal rights you have. Um, Again, I wish I could be of more help, but this is definitely out of my arena. Bum, 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 bum. Lots of questions, lots of answers. Um, Christopher Biles is confused about the AC comment. Um, I think the AC, if you're referring to Heather Wilson's comment, I think Heather is implying that an air conditioner is not going to filter air properly, and I actually tend to disagree. Um, these things are supposed to move air, and moving air is important. Whether one is going to get all wigged out about going into a restaurant that only has AC, that's a personal decision. The way I see it and the way I read the guidelines, if there's proper ventilation, whether it's natural or artificial in a place, then it's a good place to be. Now, would I want to be in a tiny air conditioned place? Probably not. But would I want to be in, and have I been in a medium or large sized environment, be it an office or a restaurant or this or that, where there's good air conditioning? I would definitely go there because it's part of the new normal and we need to make ourselves comfortable in the new normal. And Christopher, you are correct in saying this. Let me move on to the rest of the news. I have this news item up because you are looking at Mexico City's Zócalo during a typical Mexican independence celebration, which comes up on September 15 in less than a month and a half. And for Mexican independence, the Zócalo usually gets packed with people, as you can see, just breathing shoulder to shoulder. But of course, not this year. This year, President Andrés Manuel López Obrador has said that he only wants 500 people in the Zócalo, respecting safe distance, but he wants 500 people with a torch, and that there will be the traditional parade the following day, which is quite funny because then we have this headline from Claudia Sheinbaum, who is the mayor of Mexico City, and she says, "We will celebrate Independence Day." Nobody's told me anything about that. So you gotta love these headlines, and you gotta love these people complaining about one thing or the other. There is our president, and there is Claudia Sheinbaum, the mayor of Mexico City, which would be the equivalent of the mayor of Washington D.C., saying, "What do you mean President Trump wants to do that?" And he hasn't told me. So that's kind of funny, or at least I think it's kind of funny. Anyhow, yesterday we commented on the fact that the video surveillance system in Puerto Vallarta has been missing for years. We used to have one many years ago, and we commented yesterday on the fact that someone from Puerto Vallarta's police department was saying, "Well, we don't have the video surveillance equipment ready. We're just fine tuning some last minute details." But of course, we got detained by COVID-19, which is not very credible, given the fact that this complaint about the lack of video surveillance has been going on for years. The article starts by saying the ancient claim of a video surveillance system in our tourism destination resurfaced after the attack to a group of visitants coming from Guanajuato in Fluvial Vallarta. So again, we can place bets about this. We will not have a video surveillance system in the near future. Please prove me wrong. But this is what goes on, unfortunately. I really hope somebody will prove me wrong, because we could use a video surveillance system. I'm going to leave this here with you. There is a trial going on against the Pemex director or ex-director in Mexico for taking bribes to fund a presidential campaign and so forth and so on. This is a major set of news here in Mexico that is going to open up a huge can of worms. And I chose to start with a news link from Yahoo because, for better or worse, people that write for Yahoo are better equipped at explaining things than most reporters that I usually quote. So this is something that is going to be increasingly prevalent in the local news, and we're going to be following it, and I'm going to be explaining it to you as much or as little as you want to know about it. I have two more headlines that have to do with serious stuff, and then we'll take a look at your comments again to make sure that we're all in check. We've been hearing back and forths about the so-called Sunline Parties that are supposed to be taking this weekend. And of course, we've been talking or hearing people talk about the connection that Industry Nightclub and Mantamar Beach Club have to do with this party. Well, less than 10 hours ago or 12 hours ago, both of the big clubs sent out statements through their Facebook pages that say essentially the same thing. They were warm and cozy statements, of course, saying that, in a nutshell, both Industry and Mantamar have suspended all these parties, or suspended their association with these parties. They have no Sunland/Jubileo events taking place at their venues this weekend, and any further events taking place absolutely are not affiliated with either club, and this is the industry statement. Mantamar placed a JPEG on their own Facebook page. So apparently, the only person remaining in connection with the so-called Sunline Parties is the original organizer. Um, I hope that these parties will not take place. If they take place, we will find out sooner or later where they took place, and if they take place in in a public place, like I've heard rumors that they will take place on this place or the other, we will simply make sure that we disseminate the information about where these places are so that we will know whether we want to trust our business and endorsement to these places in the future or not. This is serious, folks. We don't need these parties happening in Puerto Vallarta right now. Or any parties, any parties. I know that there's grumblings here and there about the fact that everybody's talking about the Sunland parties, but nobody's talking about the big parties that are happening at the clubs that are right across the street from the La Isla shopping center. Well, we don't cater to them either. You know, we just want to be able to get out of this as quickly as possible. And this, I'm sorry to getting into commenting, but I had to go there just very quickly. Let me take a look at your comments before we move on to some leisurely stuff. Dean, 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 dean. Is my name? We talked about that. So many concerns about the airport. Maybe it's because I'm not in a hurry to go anywhere, and I'm just not concerned about the airport. Let's see. Lots of comments, but no questions. Who died? Somebody died. I don't know who died because I can't read these comments in sequence. Okay, lots of comments, but not a lot of questions. So I'm going to continue moving forward with some leisurely stuff. And of course, the weather. It is 26 degrees Celsius, 79 Fahrenheit right now. It feels like 30 degrees. Humidity is a whopping 93%, so you know what that means. It's going to be a nasty, sweaty day. There is a 7% chance precipitation, though, and what a nice shower we got yesterday afternoon. I was out and about, and I was almost caught in the rainstorm, but I was happy to come home in time to avoid it altogether. We will have rain today, according to this, rain until the evening. Tomorrow, possible light rain in the evening, and on Saturday, it'll be humid and partly cloudy through the day. Let us hope that, again, when we know that it's going to rain, that it rains copiously because we can always enjoy the cooler weather. Moving back to our headlines, if I can get Mike, there you go. I wanted to let you know that the Puerto Vallarta letters, we talked about the ones at Las Juntas, but the ones that are in the Malecon, they have been taken away and they're being retouched right now because there's going to be some filming scheduled for the Malecon this coming week. I don't know if this is a promotional thing or if it is an actual film or television production, but we're always happy when places that are part of our destination are featured in video or television projects. A few weeks ago, we talked about how the City Hall officials are going to work closely with the University of Guadalajara to redevelop or to take care of the banks of Rio Pitillal in a sustainable, environmentally friendly way. So they are now working together, both the university and City Hall, to draft a project that would actually expand the what is known as the Parque Lineal, which is a place where people enjoy jogging and running and so forth and so on. So it is nice to see that this is happening in a harmonious way, and we will be keeping track of this news item so that we can be happy when there's a specific project developed. Not everything is bad or complicated news from Enrique Alfaro, the governor of Jalisco, yesterday. He talked about the dreaded and dreadful highway from Puerto Vallarta to Mascota, Las Palmas. This is the highway that we usually take to head to San Sebastian and so forth and so on. And it's actually the slow highway to all the way to Guadalajara. Now, some people like to go on the fast highway because you get there quickly, but it's also nice to take the slow highway because it allows you to stop in little towns. If you're not in a hurry to get to Guadalajara and you're driving your own car, this can be a lot of fun because you get to stop here and there and eat and so forth and so on. But of course, this highway has the worst reputation, especially during the rain season, because this is what happens on the highway. We get a lot of landslides, and there's a lot of deterioration on the actual asphalt. So driving this highway quickly becomes more of an obstacle course. So it's nice to see that Governor Alfaro has been sharing these before and after photographs of the highway, which has been worked on recently. Now, I haven't been on my car to San Sebastián del Oeste in forever, but it is nice to see that this highway is well taken care of. San Sebastián sounds dreamy right now with this heat, and hopefully we'll have a chance to visit sometime in the near future. You may be surprised, but pleasantly surprised, I hope, because an increasing number of Mexican products are going to be available in supermarkets with these cautionary labels that say things like high in calories or high in sodium. This is a general effort in Mexico to continue promoting healthy products, or at least warning people against products that could be potentially harmful to your health. Also, I read about this, and this, I thought somebody would care about this. If you don't, then we won't talk about this anymore. But Nurse Ratchet is coming back to our television set thanks to a new series produced by Ryan Murphy. And I tried to find the preview, and I'm going to try to find the preview to share it with you. As we know, Nurse Ratchet became popular in the 1975 film One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. So apparently this is a prequel, and it gives us a glimpse as to why Nurse Ratchet was so pleasant during the film. Early this morning, NASA launched a new rover on a mission to Mars. Of course, we missed it because it was early in the morning, but you know me, I love my space travel, and we will be following this later on today and through the week. I saw this news item that caught my attention. It says here that despite COVID-19, people are there's an increase in people going to the movies in Mexico. I actually have not even Googled the local movie theaters to see if they're open or not. But in places where people can go to the movie theater, apparently there is an increase of people. We also found out, and this is probably good news for local people that own restaurants or restaurant bars with television sets, the Emmys are going to be virtual this year. We announced the Emmy nominees yesterday, or we mentioned them, and the Emmys will take place on September the 20th, I believe, yes. So hint, hint, to those of you that are trying to create some activity in your businesses, have an Emmy party. You know how many people you can fit in your spaces, but, just have an Emmy party if you can. And I believe this is the last headline that I have to share, and I thought this was really heartfelt. Indeed, this is Yo-Yo Ma on PBS NewsHour calling artists to action during the pandemic with a very wonderful piece of advice. He says, because as a musician, your job... he says, now is the best time to make a personal connection with an audience of one, because as a musician, our job is to actually move one person at a time. His call to action involves pick a friend and play for your friend and try to move your friend, or make a recording and share it with people. Ultimately, I think this is a really heartfelt intention. And if we combine this with the kind of intention that Audra McDonald was talking about in in her live performance the other day on really connecting with why you're doing what you're doing, um, will hopefully improve the quality of the connection between performers and and the music that they're creating and the audience that they're trying to appeal to. Let me take a quick look at your questions just to see what's going on. Um, let's see. A big thank you to Chef Mabi Graf for donating 100% of her cooking class to Vallarta Food Bank. Congratulations. Absolutely. Um, let's see. Let's see. Lots of comments among you guys. I'm sorry, I'm actually not familiar with who Kerman Kane is, but I will do some research. Uh, Julie Bunker has been hosting free spay neuter clinic at her house, and I read about this yesterday. Congratulations. Um, and I'm glad that I reached out to at least one of you. Yay. Um, And there's another question here. Speaking of your car, were you able to get it towed to the dealership? Yes. Yes, my car was towed to the dealership yesterday, and I know that at some point today I'm going to get a phone call from the dealership, and they hopefully will say, well, some of these things are covered under warranty, but, and I know that they will say because your car flooded in Mexico, when your car floods, it's considered a siniestro, and a siniestro is a situation that was caused by ungodly circumstances beyond your control. It's essentially the insurance company's way of saying, well, you know, you shouldn't have been doing that, so we're not going to cover this. So I am expecting all kinds of big news, but in the meantime, I'm glad that my need to move about is very reduced, and in the meantime, I will take my Ubers wherever I have to go, and that's basically what we have for today. Again, today was a good day full of news. I'm sorry for the funky start. It's every day that we learn something new about either what we can or should do or should not do when we're doing live streaming. And of course, every day I learn something new from you guys because you guys bring up comments and questions that alert me to what you're thinking about, and that helps us fine tune our mission in keeping you connected with our destination. Right, Luna? Huh? Yes? Are you taking notes? Well, that's my girl. She's always taking notes. And yes, 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 you got to look like you're busy. Anyhow, this is it. This is Coffee and Headlines for Thursday. We will be keeping our eyes open as to what the governor has to say. Ay Dios. And of course, we will report about this first thing tomorrow morning, as always. Thank you again for keeping me company. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your interaction. Thank you for the way your comments fly through the broadcast. Thank you for keeping our conversations healthy and keeping them productive and constructive and inspiring. Not to criticize, but I do see other forums online that struggle a lot with keeping their conversations nurturing and positive. So I consider myself very grateful, and you are the largest part of it because you create or help me create or help us create an environment that is nurturing here, and that is very much appreciated. With that said, stay healthy, stay happy, stay friendly, stay kind, stay in touch, and I will see you again tomorrow. Have a great day.